Okay. So as of now, 29 students have joined. Okay. So we will start the class. So you see, in between, if any break is happened, some network issues happened, please ping me on WhatsApp. Okay. Fine. So let us start. Today we'll start with the fiber optics networks, the module number 4. So in this particular module number 4, the syllabus wise, when we're talking about, we are discussing that WDM concepts and components. Okay. So what is this particular WDM concepts and components means? WDM stands for wavelength division multiplexing. Okay. So WDM stands for wavelength division multiplexing. So here, wavelength division multiplexing, how it is going to happen? So the overview of the WDM, operational principles of WDM, WDM standards, the Mach-Zehnder interferometer, the multiplexers, isolators and circulators. Okay. So fiber grating filters, dielectric thin film filters, diffraction gratings, active optical components, tunable light sources. So these are the topics. So what we are going to discuss with respect to the WDM components, concepts and components. Okay. So next part of this particular syllabus is optical amplifiers. So in the optical amplifiers part, we are going to discuss about basic application and types of optical amplifiers. So here semiconductor we are going to discuss. Erbium doped fiber amplifiers we are going to discuss. Okay, and after that we are going to discuss about the okay, so Raman amplifiers, and lastly we are going to discuss about wideband optical amplifiers. So these are the topics what we are going to discuss in this particular module number 4. So you can just go through it. Okay. So we'll go to the first topic, that is WDM. That is wavelength division multiplexing. Okay. So here, what is this particular wavelength division multiplexing? You have studied about time division multiplexing, okay, frequency division multiplexing. So these particular techniques you people have. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by multiplexing? What do you mean by multiplexing? Hello, am I audible? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of multiplexing? So multiplexing. So this particular concept of multiplexing, you people have studied from the class number from the semester 3 only. Okay. So in the logic design or digital electronics subject, you people have studied the multiplexers. Okay. So many to one. Okay. 2 to the power of n is to 1. So that means what, many signals are combined together. Okay. So one after the other, we are going to receive at the. So many signals are passing through the same channel. Okay. So like that, the time division with respect to the time, we are going to divide the signals. Okay, some part of the signal 1, some part of signal 2, like that we are going to send in their time slots. We're talking about the frequency. Frequency also, one particular frequency at one time we are going to send. So that is how the multiplexing is going to work. Similarly, here also we are going to divide the wavelength. Okay, instead of time, instead of frequency, we are going with the wavelength. That is why it is called as what wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, so your optical signals of different wavelength, okay, 1300 to 1600 nanometer can propagate without interfering with each other. Okay, without interfering with each other. So optical signals of different wavelength, 1300 to 1600 nanometer, can propagate without interfering with each other. So without interfering with each other, how we are going to achieve? We are going to achieve with respect to the multiplexing concept. Okay. So here the scheme of combining a number of wavelength over a single fiber is called wavelength division multiplexing. So here the definition, the simple fundamental definition. So you can see that is the scheme of combining a number of wavelength. Okay. So when you're talking about the time division multiplexing, scheme of combining number of time slots of a signal, okay, of different various signals. Okay, similarly with respect to the frequency, similarly with respect to the wavelength here, the scheme of combining a number of wavelengths over a single fiber is called wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, so each input is generated by a separate optical source with an unique wavelength. So each input is generated by separate optical source with a unique wavelength. So this is the particular fundamental operation. So what we are implementing in the wavelength division multiplexing concept. So you can make a note of this particular things. This definition, you can make a note of it. Okay, so please make a note of this one. So once you taken this particular thing, you can go for this particular WDM scheme. Okay. So write the diagram, all of you. So in this particular diagram, so you can see that. So here in the left hand side, the starting is wavelength multiplexer is there. Okay. So there are n number of transmitters, transmitter 1, transmitter 2, transmitter n, up to transmitter n we have taken into consideration. So each transmitter will be emitting the signal in different wavelengths. Okay, so transmitter 1 will be emitting the signal in lambda 1, transmitter 2 will be emitting the signal with respect to the lambda 2, similarly to the lambda n, up to lambda n we have taken. Okay, so general WDM scheme it is going to represent. So all those things, lambda 1, lambda 2 up to lambda n, these are called as what? Different various wavelengths. So all these wavelengths we have taken. Okay, and we have fed all these things to the wavelength multiplexer. So there n number of wavelengths have been multiplexed and only one signal will be taken as output. Okay, So one signal we are taken as output. That particular output signal, will be having any one of this particular wavelength. Okay, with respect to some duration, it will be there. So then that particular signal is optically amplified. That means what optical signal will be amplified by using the optical amplifier. So once it has been amplified, we are sending in the optical fiber for the receiving end. So from the transmission end to the receiving end, we are going to transmit. So in that particular optical fiber, so it is going to, signal is going to transmit, and in the reception side, once again we are going to use the optical amplifier. Why? Because in the optical fiber, so there may be some amount of losses which may be present. So that particular losses will be taken care by optically amplifying the signal. So once we are going to optically amplify the signal, so we are feeding that particular signal into the wavelength demultiplexer. So in the demultiplexer, so it will select the signal correspondingly, and it is going to send the corresponding receiver. Okay, so if the lambda 1 is been received, okay, if the signal which is having the wavelength of lambda 1, so it is going to be receiver 1. Similarly, if the lambda 2 is received, it is going to received by lambda 2. Sorry, lambda 2 means what? Receiver 2. Similarly, if the signal is received with respect to the wavelength of lambda n, so it is been fed to the receiver n. Okay, so this is a very simple concept, like a TDM, like a FDM. So here also the WDM scheme is being implemented here. Okay, very simple scheme and very simple representation. Please make a note of this particular diagram. Very important. In the examination, they will be asking you explain the WDM scheme. Okay. At that particular point of time, you need to write this particular answer. So I'll give you 2 minutes of time. So please make sure to writing this particular diagram, all of you. Taken, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you take on this one, I can understand the simple explanation for this. So your optical amplifier, optical multiplexer couples the light from the individual sources to the transmitting fiber. It's a common thing. At the receiving station, an optical demultiplexer is required. Obviously, when you are multiplexing in the left hand side, so in the transmitting side, so in the other side, there should be a demultiplexer because we want the signal back correctly. At the receiving station, an optical demultiplexer is required to separate the different wave carriers before the photo detection of individual signals. Okay. So for this particular thing, the figure is been shown. Okay. In the figure, it has been represented. That is a simple WDM scheme. Okay. So now to prevent the spurious signals to enter into the receiving channel, demultiplexer must have a narrow spectral operation with sharp wavelength cutoff. Okay, with sharp wavelength cutoffs. So acceptable limit of crosstalk is 30 dB. So here what exactly happens? So when you're demultiplexing the signals, okay. So here what exactly happens when they're demultiplexing the signal? So there may be some amount of noise which may get added. So that particular signals are getting added are called as what spurious signals. So in order to avoid that particular spurious signal, okay, so demultiplexer must have a narrow spectral operation because if the wide spectral operation is there, so what happens? So in that particular wide area, any noise which is matching, so that also will get affected, that also get included. So in order to avoid that particular thing, okay, so demultiplexer must have a narrow spectral operation with sharp wavelength cutoffs. Okay, so they are acceptable limit. So once whatever is the work you do, so there may be some amount of problem which may arise. So in order to avoid that particular thing. So acceptable limit of crosstalk is 30 dB. Okay, is minus 30 dB. So up to this particular range, it is going to be supported. So now the features of WDM we are talking about. So what are the important features of WDM? Okay. So here are important advantages. See, features means what? Features, the special features we are discussing. Okay. So important advantages or features of WDM are as mentioned below. So first thing is what? Capacity upgrade. Capacity upgrade. So please make a note of this one. So what is this particular first thing is capacity upgrade. Since each wavelength supports independent data rate in Gbps, so gigabits per second. So each wavelength is supporting. So that means what? When the different wavelength signals are coming into picture, so the particular capacity, the particular device has to support the each wavelength. Okay, since each wavelength supports independent data rate of Gbps, so capacity upgrade is one of the feature. So this particular feature is available in the WDM scheme. When you compare with the other scheme, WDM will be having this particular option, this particular feature. Okay, that's the first thing. Second feature is what? Transparency. Okay, so when you're talking about the transparency, the WDM can carry fast asynchronous and slow synchronous analog and digital data. So it is going to have some features like fast asynchronous operation it can support, slow synchronous also it is going to support, synchronous with analog and digital data is also available. So when these things are available, okay, so it is well and good. So next thing is what wavelength routing. So when you're talking about the wavelength routing, so you can see that WDM can add or drop multiplexers, cross connectors and wavelength converters. Okay. So your wavelength switching. So your see there is a provision. So adding or dropping the signals in the multiplexer, something like let us consider like lambda 1 to lambda 2, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n up to lambda n it is there. Okay. So similarly at the receiving also lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4 up to lambda 3, lambda n, the signals are available. So suppose if in case suddenly you don't want any particular signal, okay, so at that particular time you can drop any one, that is all that particular feature. Let us consider I don't want lambda 3. Lambda 3 can be dropped, okay, even if you transmit at the receiving side, you can drop, okay. So if you don't want to transmit that also signal also you can drop. That particular adding or dropping the signals is also available with respect to the WDM. Okay, so that is what exactly the feature. Okay. So a capacity upgrade since each wavelength supports the independent data rate in Gbps. So transparency WDM can carry fast asynchronous, slow synchronous and synchronous analog and digital data. Wavelength routing. In the wavelength routing, link capacity and flexibility can be increased by using the simple multiple wavelength. In the last one, it is wavelength switching. In the wavelength switching, WDM can add or drop multiplexers, cross connectors, and wavelength converters. So your wavelength converter cross connectors means what? So what you call for that? Lambda 1 you transmitted, okay. So lambda 1, the first wavelength you transmitted. So that particular first wavelength can be given as a cross connection with respect to the 3. So lambda 3 and lambda 1 can be exchanged at the receiving side. That is called as a cross connection. Okay. So technically speaking, what is the first thing? So lambda 1 means what? The receiving also this should be lambda 1. That means what? First slot. Okay, first signal has to be first signal only. But cross connection option, if you do enable and if you try to use that, so you can go for this particular feature also. That is what exactly the meaning. So now next thing is what wavelength switching. When you're talking about the wavelength switching, WDM can add or drop the multiplexer. That is the first thing. Cross connector. That is the second thing. The third thing is what wavelength converters. So now what exactly happen? Wavelength conversion is a process. Suppose I'm sending the signal in 1300 nanometer. Suppose I don't want to send the signal in 1300 nanometer. I want to increase or I want to decrease the wavelength. So the wavelength can also be converted with the limited range. Okay, there will be range. So however you want, you cannot convert. There will be some certain range. Okay, so that particular range, if you are converting, it is acceptable, and you can convert the signal wavelength to your purpose. It is also one of the possibility with respect to the wavelength switching. Okay, so these are the 4 features. Okay, so which are there in the WDM. So please make a note of this one, all of you. So after you're taking this one, we'll move on to the next slide. So in this particular WDM, we are going to discuss about the first components, that is the passive components. Take the heading passive components. So after taking the heading passive components, so we'll see that what exactly the meaning. For implementing WDM, various passive and active components are required to combine. Okay, so here what exactly happened? So why we require the passive and active components basically is we require the many components. Okay, in that category is active and passive. So in that particular required categories of passive and active components, so what are the things we require? So for implementing WDM, various passive and active components are required. For what? To combine the signal. To combine more than two, that means for 2 plus 2, 3, 4 signals, if you want to combine, so we require a component to distribute the signal. Okay, so distribution, that means what, one signal is getting distributed to the many. So that is to distribute the signal, there is a requirement for the component. To isolate the signal also, there is a requirement of component. To amplify the optical power at different wavelength, we require a component. Okay, that means what, whatever the operations you do, okay, so we require components. So without requiring the components, we cannot consider. So without requiring the components, we cannot consider the, and we cannot go with respect to the operation. Okay, so when you're talking about some operation, obviously the operation must be very clear. So for every operation like combining, we require a component. Distribution also we require a component. So without the components, we cannot do the operations. Okay, we can to transfer the signal also. We require transmitter, receiver, and what you call for that optical fibers and all we require. Okay, so when we require all the things, okay, into consideration, so obviously we require every element for every operation. Okay, so these are the in the circuit. Okay, so we are going to use these all these particular things. So you can make a note like this. For implementing WDM, various active and passive components are required. So these required to perform the combining, distributing, isolating, and amplifying the optical power at different wavelength. So once you written this one, we'll see that. Okay, so passive components are mainly used to split or combine the optical signals. So here, in the various components, optical amplification, distribution, combining, and isolation, we have taken the example. So when you're talking about in particular with respect to the passive components, okay, so passive components are mainly used to split the signal or combine the optical signal. So these are the first fundamental operations with respect to the passive component. Passive components are mainly used to split or combine the optical signals. So these components operates in optical domains. Passive components don't need external control for their operation. Okay, so you make a note of this one. Passive components do not need external control. Okay, they require the power. Okay, so they don't require the external control. See, don't confuse that. Sir, the passive components don't require external energy. No, we are very clear that passive components don't need external control. Okay, because if you are preparing or if you have prepared the component to combine the signal, so automatically when the power is on and the signal is fed, it will do the combining operation only. So their external control is not required. Okay, that is what exactly the meaning. Okay, so these components operates in optical domains. So the passive components don't need external control for their operation. Okay, these components operates in optical domains. So passive components don't need external control for their operation. So please make a note of these things. So once you have taken this one, so we'll go to the next slide. So in the next slide, passive components are fabricated by using the optical fibers by planar optical waveguides. Okay, how they are manufactured. Okay, so obviously we are talking about the optical only. So optical components, optical passive components must be made by optical things only. So your passive components are fabricated by using the optical fibers by using the planar optical waveguides by planar optical waveguides. So your commonly required passive components are. So when we are talking about the requirements, see, passive components are fabricated by using the optical fibers. That is the one condition, one particular criteria. Now, so why we require passive components, and when we are requiring the passive components, what are the what are the majority things we use with respect to the passive components, which are N cross N couplers. Okay, so N cross N couplers, power splitters, power taps, and star couplers. Okay, so now these are the four fundamental commonly required passive components. So what are those? N cross N couplers, power splitters, power taps, star couplers. Okay, things. Okay, these things are commonly used. Okay, commonly required passive components. So you can make a note of this one. The most passive components are derived from basic star couplers. Okay, so here power splitters, power taps, N cross N couplers. Okay, so all these things, the fundamental idea behind all these things is star coupler. That means for star coupler, so it is okay. So the structure of star coupler we'll discuss in the next further sections. So here most passive components are derived from basic star couplers. So a star couplers can perform combining and splitting of optical power. Therefore, star coupler is a multiple input and multiple output port device. So star coupler can perform combining and splitting of optical power. So the passive components are basically used to combine or splitting the power. So the star coupler will do that one. So and in the particular star coupler, okay, so splitting and combining of optical power can be done, and it is a multiple input and multiple output port device. That means what? multiple. See here we are going with respect to the multiple input, multiple output, not exactly the equal. So if you tell that it is equal, it will become what? N cross N couplers. Okay. So if you tell that N inputs, N output, then it is a N cross N couplers. That is why there may be N inputs and there may be M outputs. That is why the star coupler is termed as multiple input and multiple output port device. Multiple input, multiple output port device we are going to consider. Please make a note of this one, all of you. So after writing this one, we'll go to the next one. So in the N cross N fiber coupler, so we'll study with respect to the 2 cross 2 fiber coupler. Okay, the first heading you take down 2 cross 2 fiber coupler. So in this particular 2 cross 2 fiber coupler, you can able to see that there is input power. Okay, so in the left hand side there are 2 ports, and the right hand side there are 2 ports. So in the left hand side there are 2 ports. The name is what? Input power and crosstalk. In the right hand side there are another 2 ports. The name is what? Throughput power and coupled power. So input power denoted by P0, throughput power denoted by P1, coupled power denoted by P2, and crosstalk is denoted by P3. Okay. So here after that the width, okay, L represent the length of the fiber which is bent. So W represent width, okay, which is straight. And once again L represents the length of the fiber which is bent to the port. Okay. 4 ports, 2 into 2, 2 cross 2, 2 input side, 2 output side. So first you take this particular diagram. So in the next class, we will discuss the explanation part of 2 cross 2 fiber coupler and further things.